You trust these face washes because they're everywhere on chemist shelves, in bathroom cabinets, recommended by friends. And that trust may be the exact reason they're getting away with things you would never knowingly put on your skin. These brands built their reputations on safety, science, or gentle care. Today, we're exposing the brands betraying that trust. Today and next, I'll reveal the products in this category that are damaging consumers through toxic ingredients, deceptive labels, and predatory marketing. By the end of this video, viewers will know exactly what to avoid and what they should actually use instead. Face wash is one of the most misleading skincare categories on the UK market. Everything is legal, everything sounds dermatologist approved, and yet the formulas tell a very different story. Once you stop reading the front label and start reading the back, I went through ingredient lists, pricing, and how these products actually behave on real skin over time. And the pattern is consistent. Marketing first, skin health. Second, simple, kind to skin refreshing. Facial wash is bought because it signals safety before you even pick it up. The word simple, the pastel packaging, the repeated emphasis on being kind, gentle, and suitable for sensitive skin, all create an assumption that this is the lowest risk option on the shelf. For many consumers, this becomes the default cleanser they never question. That trust is exactly the problem. When you break down the formula, what you find is not a carefully balanced skin-supportive cleanser, but a cost-driven blend, designed to feel acceptable in the short term while cutting corners and structure. The cleansing system relies on relatively harsh surfactants that remove oil efficiently but do nothing to protect the skin barrier afterward. On first use, it feels clean, light, and residue-free, which people interpret as effectiveness over weeks of daily use. However, that same efficiency translates into chronic tightness, especially around the cheeks and mouth. Sensitive skin users often adapt by layering heavier moisturizers, not realizing the cleanser is the root cause of the problem. Preservatives and stabilizers in the formula are chosen for shelf life and cost rather than skin comfort. While each ingredient is technically safe and legal, the cumulative effect is irritation through repetition. This is how products like this avoid scrutiny. No single ingredient is alarming, but the overall formulation lacks buffering, replenishment, and long-term consideration. In real-world use, this cleanser does not improve skin clarity, resilience, or hydration. It simply removes oil and leaves skin to recover on its own. At its price point, consumers are not paying for innovation or superior formulation. They are paying for reassurance branding. It is not actively destructive overnight, but it slowly undermines skin health while convincing users it is doing the opposite. Garnier Pure Active Charcoal Cleansing Gel is designed to sell the idea of control, the black gel, the word charcoal, and the promise of deep cleansing all target consumers who are frustrated with oiliness, breakouts, and congested skin. It feels decisive, like you are finally doing something aggressive enough to fix the problem. That perception is carefully engineered. Charcoal in this formula is present in a largely symbolic amount. It gives color and marketing credibility, but contributes very little to actual detoxification or poor management. The real work in this cleanser is done by strong foaming agents that strip oil quickly and completely. On first use, the skin feels squeaky clean, matte, and refreshed. Many users interpret this as success, especially if they are used to oily skin. The issue emerges with repeated daily use. By removing too much oil too often, the cleanser disrupts the skin's natural regulation. The result is rebound oil production, where the skin produces more sebum to compensate, leading to the very shine and congestion users were trying to eliminate. The formula also includes fragrance and supporting additives that increase irritation risk, particularly for acne-prone skin that is already inflamed. In real-world use, this cleanser often causes subtle redness and sensitivity that users mistake for purging or adjustment. Instead of improving acne cycles, it prolongs them by keeping the skin in a state of constant stress. From a value perspective, this product sits in a mid-range price bracket while delivering a formulation that could be replicated at a much lower cost. The consumer is paying for visual impact and the promise of detox, not for balanced skin health over time. This cleanser does not refine pores, reduce breakouts, or improve texture. It creates a cycle of over-cleansing and compensation that benefits the brand far more than the user. Neutrogena Hydroboost Water Gel Cleanser is purchased largely on the strength of its clinical reputation. Neutrogena has positioned itself for decades as a science-led dermatologist-adjacent brand, and the Hydroboost line, in particular, promises hydration balance and modern formulation. Consumers assume that a cleanser carrying the word hydro will protect moisture while cleansing. That assumption does most of the selling. When the formula is examined closely, the gap between promise and performance becomes difficult to ignore. The cleanser uses a gel texture that feels light and contemporary, which reinforces the idea of hydration. However, the primary cleansing agents are still conventional surfactants that prioritize effective oil remover over barrier support. While they are not the harshest on the market, they are also not particularly gentle when used daily. Many users experience a mild stinging sensation around the eyes or nose, especially if the skin barrier is already compromised. This reaction is often dismissed as personal sensitivity, but it is widespread enough to be a formulation issue rather than an anomaly. Fragrance is a major weakness here. In a product positioned around hydration and suitability for everyday use, fragrance serves no functional purpose. Its inclusion increases irritation risk and undermines the brand's clinical messaging. For consumers with rosacea, eczema-prone skin, or post-acne sensitivity, this cleanser frequently becomes the quiet trigger that prevents skin from fully stabilizing. In real-world use, the cleanser removes makeup and surface oil efficiently, but fails to deliver lasting hydration. Skin may feel soft immediately after rinsing, but that sensation fades quickly, replaced by tightness within minutes. The so-called hydro benefit is superficial and short-lived, more about texture and slip than true moisture retention. From a pricing standpoint, Hydroboost sits above basic drugstore cleansers while delivering marginally better performance. At best, consumers are paying a premium for branding, packaging, and the reassurance of a trusted name. When compared to genuinely barrier-supportive cleansers at similar or lower prices, the value proposition weakens significantly. This product is not catastrophic, but it is inconsistent with the standards its branding implies. And that inconsistency is where trust quietly erodes. The Body Shop Tea Tree Skin-Clearing Facial Wash is purchased because it sits at the intersection of two powerful ideas: natural ingredients and problem-solving skincare. Tea tree oil has a long-standing reputation for being antibacterial and acne-fighting, and the Body Shop reinforces that belief with ethical branding and plant-forward messaging. Consumers assume they are choosing a cleaner, safer solution for breakouts. What they rarely question is how aggressively this cleanser is formulated and what that aggression does to the skin over time. The core issue is concentration and balance. Tea tree oil, while useful in controlled amounts, becomes irritating when used daily in a rinse-off product that already relies on strong cleansing agents. The formula also includes alcohol, which amplifies the degazing effect. On first use, this cleanser feels effective. Oil is removed quickly. The skin feels matte and blemishes appear less inflamed. That immediate result is why people stick with it. The problem is what happens after 2 to 3 weeks of consistent use, as the cleanser repeatedly strips oil and disrupts the skin barrier. The skin responds by becoming either excessively dry or paradoxically more oily. For acne-prone users, this often leads to flaking around active breakouts, increased redness and slower healing. Instead of calming inflammation, the cleanser keeps the skin in a mildly irritated state that prevents true recovery. Many users mistake this for their acne being stubborn when in reality the cleanser is prolonging the cycle. In everyday use, this product does not support long-term clarity or balance. It creates a short-term illusion of control while gradually weakening the skin's natural defenses. The tingling sensation some users experience is often interpreted as the tea tree working, but it is more accurately a sign of irritation. At its price point, especially considering the Body Shop's premium ethical positioning, this formulation feels outdated. Consumers are paying for the story of natural problem-solving rather than a modern barrier cleanser. It is not that tea tree itself is inherently bad, but in this execution, it is overused and poorly buffered. The result is a cleanser that feels proactive, but ultimately leaves skin more vulnerable than when it started. Clean and clear, deep action cream wash is purchased, largely by younger consumers who are drawn to the idea of instant freshness and clarity. The marketing focuses on rapid oil control, deep pore cleansing, and a cooling sensation that is immediately noticeable. It is inexpensive, widely available, and packaged in a way that signals effectiveness and modernity. For teenagers and young adults dealing with acne-prone or combination skin, the appeal is obvious. A product that promises to remove oil, unclog pores, and leave the skin feeling clean without a significant financial commitment. The problem is that the formula achieves those sensory results at the expense of true skin health. The cleanser relies heavily on menthol and fragrance compounds, which provide a strong, cooling effect that the brain interprets as cleansing. This sensation is misleading because it masks underlying irritation rather than addressing it. The surfactants in the formula